This is JXE Streams. My name is Anthony John Agnello. You are watching Tim Seppala play Dead Space for the Xbox 360. And he's doing a little tweaking. He's doing a little tweaking.
And my put forth all the little froggies, and I don't want that to happen. So, yes, that happened. Yeah, let us know. I just adjusted the audio effects quite a bit, so let me know if those work out for you guys. I don't want it to be too bad. Ah! I don't want it to be too annoying or too loud, because so yeah, let us know.
Alright, Hoplite says that is much better. Awesome. So this is actually good that we've been having some sound issues in addition to our upload issues. That's why we are not playing Splatterhouse as initially advertised and shown up for Splatterhouse. My deepest apologies. Please direct all of your complaints to Time Warner Cable, their corporate headquarters in New York City, because they are the scum responsible for this. But yeah, sound is an interesting discussion in regards to Dead Space, because we were just talking about Isaac and his silence in Dead Space 1, and then his relative chattiness in Dead Space 2. And I have to tell you, I am one of those people that actually likes a silent protagonist, Tim.
Yeah,
I don't know about you. Like,
I'm okay with it. It works.
I like a silent protagonist, and like as far as something that I like to talk about, and people tend to disagree with me, is that I think that not every game needs voice acting. In fact, there are many times where I'm playing a game, especially an RPG, where I'm like, why am I listening to voices here? I don't need to hear these people talk. Just give me the text. Or game. Come on now.
I have a problem with his voice because
I've gone over the MedSci report.
Okay job in Arkansas.
These things are biorecombinators. They take dead tissue, absorb it, and mold it into new form. One iteration seems to have the sole purpose of infecting corpses.
Prince of Persia.
Prince of Persia 2000.
Well, seem to be using corpses to infect.
Not okay.
I knew you were going to say that. It's just like, it's like you're looking at this wonderful, beautiful, lush, like, fantasy landscape, and this, like, awesome Persian-looking dude, and all these headscarves, and then it's just Nathan Drake.
Yep.
It's just Nathan Drake snark. Sershan, so you like Mario and Link. I'm actually of the opinion that modern Mario and modern Link vocalize too much. Like, I don't need... When I'm playing New Super Mario Bros. U, you know what I don't need? I don't need Mario going, woo, 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 woo.
You realize that you're going to put Charles Martinet out of a job.
I know, I love Charles Martinet.
He voices both of them.
I love hearing Mario go. I love knowing that it's a him. But I don't even hear it constantly. But yeah, like at the same time, you know, I do like a very well performed character, and there are a few examples of you know, your Isaac Clarkes in games where they go from a silent protagonist to all of a sudden a speaking protagonist. The other big one that I can think of is Jack in Jak and Daxter. And
I want to get the collection.
Yeah, no, definitely still worth checking out. Definitely still worth checking out. Sayoshan, yeah, man, Eco, wonderful voice work in Eco, where, you know, they're just sort of, they don't really speak, they speak this fake language. Travis, yeah, the silent protagonist is a big part of Persona as well. And Persona is almost different than something like what you get here in Dead Space.
Oh, yeah, because there aren't things like this.
Yeah, well, there are things like this. There are freaks trying to claw your eyes out.
like that. This is one thing that always struck me about Dead Space. It's like, oh, it's nice that the monsters have money on them.
Yeah, it's very...
But they are reanimated crew members, so
yeah, they are reanimated corpses. Tim, we are getting one last request to turn down the game volume. If you get into the options when nothing is murdering you, I would say kick everything down to about 25%.
Okay, I can do that. Alright, yeah, we're at 50% right now, so I'll kick it back down to 25. There we go. Turn the music volume down to 25 as well. There we go.
Are you wearing one of the unlockable suits?
I'm wearing. It was the free Xbox 360 one. Because the PS3 had a different suit, and the Xbox 360 one did. The Xbox 360 one was white and green. I don't know what color the PS3 one was.
That was probably like, I don't know. God, we're talking about Sony in 2008, so it was probably the color of arrogance.
Blue.
Does arrogance have a color?
It wouldn't be green. That's envy, as we've been told by the Beastie Boys.
That's very true. Very true.
Just people are jealous of the rhyme and the rhyme routine. No, and that was another thing that was really cool with the series is as you progressed, as you got more and more of the suits, the designers wanted it to feel kind of like a cathedral, where it would become more and more intricate. And that's what it does, because I went through and I started a new game, just a brand new game, and it felt weird to not be so adorned. And that's what I liked about the suits, because they were really, really intricate, and they got, as you gain more power, you got just a suit that had more and more stuff on it.
Tim, Yodel has a very, very keen idea of what the PlayStation exclusive Dead Space suit was. It was all black with the Spider-Man font on the front of it. Which, you know, like, honestly, like, I understand that Ken Kutaragi, if anybody in the chat, I highly doubt that anybody in the chat doesn't know who Ken Kutaragi is. You guys are my type of game nerd. But, you know, like, Ken Kutaragi was a eccentric fellow, an eccentric consumer product engineer who was responsible for the design of the PlayStation 1, 2, and 3. And I understand that Ken had a profound amount of leeway when it came to making whatever he wanted to make. After the wild success of the PlayStation 1 and 2. But don't you think that somebody in that organization was like, dude, that is the Spider-Man font?
No, it's probably groupthink. You know, I learned about that the other day in my communications class, is that groupthink is when an organization is so far up its own butt that nobody is the voice of dissent, that everybody is just super self-justified. And that really, really, really defines how the PlayStation 3 was as a whole, that whole period for Sony, especially compared to how the PS4 is now, where they realized, they were like, we did a lot of things really wrong for those 6-7 years.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, I find it interesting that there has emerged a pattern where the third console from a console manufacturer who has experienced some success is always the overstepping of the boundary. Like clockwork, the third console is always the nightmare. Like, the Nintendo 64, why are you going with cartridges? They're, like, the only reason to stay with cartridges is because you like the profit margins that come from being the only manufacturer of these little plastic boxes that people need to use. Why do you make why do you make a PlayStation 3 that has a ridiculously unnecessary amount of wildly expensive technology in it? Like, why do you make the Xbox One? Why? Keep it simple.
Yeah, that's actually a good point that that's a really good... That's something I never really even thought about.
Yeah!
Yeah,
the Sega Saturn, dude. The Sega Saturn is the same thing. Atari... So, Atari is an interesting example because, you have to think about what counts as the first Atari console.
It's in the 2600.
Yeah, my inclination is to count the 2600 as well, but then Atari just sort of breaks the rules, because the Atari 5200, the 7800, and the Jaguar are all travesties. Yeah. And they changed owners. You know,
yes.
Atari was no longer Atari.
Yeah, they sold to Burlington.
Yeah. Grease Devil, welcome back. Back from yesterday. Howdy, howdy. I am glad to see you here. I know that we promised Splatterhouse. We could not deliver Splatterhouse. The internet.
We are splattering the insides of a space station with alien blood, though.
We did do Splatter Space. Splatter Space is the thing that we've made to happen. Duke, 32X was not a standalone console. It is technically a peripheral.
Yeah, just like the Sega CD.
And I actually, you know, the 32X and the Sega CD are travesties, I know. But there's some good stuff there, as Travis is pointing out. Knuckles Chaotix and Star Wars Arcade and Kolibri, Kolibri? I don't know how to pronounce that. The hummingbird shooter. Oh, the lone hummingbird shooter.
What was that one game? I had a subscription to Sega Visions, which was, as I found out later, a Sega propaganda magazine. But they were pushing Sewer Shark really hard, and also there was a zombie game as well.
Yeah.
I just can't remember the name of.
Corpse. Corpse Killer. Corpse Killer. Yeah, there you go. The abomination or the monstrosity that was a Sega Genesis plugged into a 32, or with a 32X plugged into it, also strapped on with a Sega CD. That thing was just I don't know what to say, how to describe it. It was absurd. I have the name for it, and I came up with this name for that absurdity when I came to a realization. I came to a rule in my mid-20s that I am not allowed to look at eBay after 2 drinks.
Oh, we've talked about this on stream.
Yeah, we've talked about this. If you've had 2 drinks, you're not allowed to go to eBay anymore. And one of the things that led to this was a week after having a few drinks, when I was 26, this is back in 2008, a box shows up at my apartment. And what is inside the box but 20 Sega Genesis games, 3 32X games, including doubles of the WWF Raw game that came out for 32X, or was it a Royal Rumble game? And
Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it was Royal Rumble, and everything. Like a Genesis Model 2, a Sega CD Model 1, and a 32X, and I was like, oh, what have I done? Apparently I only spent $65 on this
not bad.
on this
that
box.
Could have gone way worse.
It could have gone really bad. It could have gone really bad. And there was some clutch stuff in there. Like there was a copy of Final Fight CD. I no longer have this, actually. I got rid of them. Yeah, Travis, a Model 1 of the Sega CD, which was a beast. Because there are a couple of different versions of the Sega CD, including the model that is oh no, yeah, Travis, you can get it in there. You can plug that thing into the side port. But yeah, so we came up with a perfect name for a complete 16-bit era Sega machine with a 32X and a Sega CD and everything plugged in. You call it the Whale.
I was gonna say, yeah, that seems all right. Like the Black Whale, you could, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Whale, and it's literally oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm gonna take 10 minutes to set up the Whale. Or what am I doing today? I'm looking for new Genesis games. I'm whale hunting. The Whale!
Okay, so here's a Genesis question for you. On your Model 1 Genesis, did the equalizer or the headphone port work? Because mine did not.
Oh no headphone port work. No, it's awful.
That's the type of thing that would not fly these days.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't, because of the internet. It was yeah. And I've talked to a bunch of different people. I've talked to a few former editors too. Was it Francesca Reyes from Official Xbox Magazine? Her and I were talking one night, And we were talking about Genesis, and I was like, did your headphone port work in the equalizer? She goes, no. She goes,
Nope.
You think that Red Ring was bad? Like, this would have been bad, too. It's just when people didn't expect stuff to work, people were okay with it.
Mursame, Joystick, what is your opinion on the Jaguar system? That is very funny that you bring up the Jaguar. Tim and I have talked about the Jaguar a couple of times, and Engadget's own Philip Palermo is
Loves the Jaguar.
Big Jaguar fan, a huge Jaguar fan.
No!
And
I knew this was gonna happen. I knew it. Sorry, Jaguar. As I have saw blades. I'm just gonna rip this. Anyway,
that's what's gonna happen. Oh god, it gets up so quickly. It gets up so quickly.
Yeah. The thing is, like, the animations are so jerky, and that was the thing too. Because when the human brain, when it perceives like that something is not doing okay, like when it perceives like jerky animation and stuff like that, it automatically stresses you out too, because you're like, something is not all right about that. It goes back to the whole animal thing, where fish, when they sense that a prey fish is not doing well, it's because it's jerking and it's just not moving well or moving right how we're used to. It screws with you. Everything about this game was designed to screw with you.
You're getting some love for your screams, by the way, Tim. People love your pain.
It's good that they love this pain, because it was frustrating with the pain they're feeling.
It's true.
I'd rather this happen.
This is a much better type of pain. Much better type of pain.
Jaguar.
I have barely spent any time with a functioning Jaguar as an adult. I was a big fan of Aliens vs. Predator when I was a lad, and I would play Jaguar at a friend's house. But yeah, this is the second time the Jaguar has come up today, because Philip at Engadget actually sent me a message in the middle of the day and was just like, "Hey, I heard that you might be interested in streaming some Jaguar games," and I'm starting to think that there is no choice. I'm gonna have to get a Jaguar.
Yeah, kick that necromorph, Isaac. Okay,
Jaguar. Etlovig, I am so sorry that you're showing up and came looking for... Oh my god, you're just getting eaten alive by that thing. It's disgusting.
I punched it, though. That punch is awesome.
Etlovig, I'm so sorry that we are not playing Splatterhouse. We attempted to play Splatterhouse, but upload speeds on my setup, unfortunately... Yeah, Jankstick happened, as Yodel said. We were all set to go. Unfortunately, not all of us are in the same place, although in this case that ended up turning out to be a good thing.
Yeah.
My internet connection was borked. Borked beyond repair. I was literally uploading 800 kilobytes a second when we finally gave up trying to get everything to work. So we bailed, and unfortunately Tim does not have a copy of Splatterhouse for us to continue with the original vision for today. Yeah, Duke, you guys need to lie. Yeah, we beat Splatterhouse! Start to finish!
Real quick.
One quarter!
I am punching the crap out of this necromorph! I don't give an F! Just BAM! I don't need ammo to defeat... Oh, I think I might.
Yeah, you might need ammo.
Whoa! No! Coming back! Down for the... I thought I was down for the count late into the 12, but no! Murder! Happening on the internet on some undead former members of the USG Ishimura crew.
What we don't really know is, maybe everybody on the Ishimura was kind of a dick.
That's a possibility. I mean, that's a real thing.
It's really a possibility that the people on the Ishimura kind of had it coming.
Well, I actually, because I was a crazy person, I watched the really crappy prequel anime.
Oh, the anime, yeah.
And the captain of the Ishimura was a unitologist.
Oh, all right. So he wanted this to happen.
Yeah. This is all his fault.
Pepper Sandwich has just described what I think might be the best idea for a video game I've ever heard, which is Mike Tyson's Dead Space. I cannot imagine a better... oh my god, that would be amazing.
Oh, but then you would want a silent protagonist in that game, especially.
You definitely would. You definitely.
I couldn't take much of his voice. Oh my god! Oh my god! That is a really, really, really big alien! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh crap! I don't know what to do. Oh my gosh! I am terrified. I don't think that this is going to work out well. There is some sense of respite right now, though.
Travis Skywell, Mike Tyson went to space already. What was the game? It was originally titled Mike Tyson's Punch-Out 2. But yeah, it is Power Punch 2 when it finally released. That's right. That was... God, now I can't remember who developed it. But there was a time when Nintendo wanted Mike Tyson's Punch-Out 2, because obviously Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was very successful.
Was there a bad Punch-Out? I can never remember bad.
So Punch-Out was... Okay, it goes like this. There's Punch-Out, Super Punch-Out, both of those are arcade games. Then there's Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for the NES, which is a different thing. Then there's regular Punch-Out, which replaced Mike Tyson with Mr. Dream, although he fights exactly the same way. And then there's Super Punch-Out for the Super Nintendo.
Okay, so it was a licensing issue. They didn't want to pay him anymore for it.
Well...
Or was it because he got into the legal issue?
Yeah, he kind of, you know, threw his wife down a set of stairs.
Yeah.
And he was going through. He was not well.
That was what? I'm gonna assume that was not. He is not. No, he is not down for the count. I need to get out of here.
Is this an official boss, or is this?
I don't know. I know that there's a point where you go back to the main atrium and you fight a gigantic beast there as well. I don't know if it's
yeah, I think you have to fight more of these guys.
Yeah, I don't know how to... Like I said, it's been an awful long time.
God, me too. It's been years now.
One thing I am really, really, really grateful for, even more now than when I first played it, is the navigation blue dot, which is fantastic. It tells you exactly where you need to go.
Yeah, really awesome navigation system.
Yes,
but that doesn't force you to walk along just linear corridor.
Right.
Like, I love that the Ishimura feels like a space that you get to inhabit, and you get to really know the ship, you know?
Yeah, the ship, is as cliche as it sounds, the ship is a character in the game.
I think it's a faulty data cable. I need you to aim the cannon manually until I can replace it.
Yeah, I
just... Take the elevator to the top of the ship and have
I wish I had more time so I could just go back there and play this from start to finish again, because I really, really like this game. I even was okay with the ending and the final boss battle. Like, those didn't bother me too terribly.
Yeah, I think I might track down. I might track down the time to actually play this again because it's so good.
Yeah, it's so good, and it holds up really well visually. I would imagine it looks much better on PC, but I mean, we're streaming at 720p, and my Xbox 360 is only outputting at 720p on a 1080p monitor, but it looks pretty good. It's a little soft. Some of the shadows are a little here and there. That is a telephone.
That is just a telephone all over the place.
Some of the shadows are a little they're not as sharp here and there, but for the most part, the game still looks really good. There's a lot of ground, but I don't know. The game works for me still. Oh, money.
Money! Yeah, man. You should if you start running low on ammo, the best thing you can do is just put all of your weapons away except for one in the storage. Are you aware of this trick?
We talked about this last time.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did talk. We talked about this when we were playing Resident Evil. Yeah, you can, because all of the drops are randomly generated. So if you only have one gun, you can do that.
I wish. Yeah. I mean, that's the type of thing that it makes the whole notion of playing only with the plasma cutter possible.
Sayurshan, maybe it's Lester calling the Dead Space universe for a heist from Grand Theft Auto.
Wait, what?
Hey!
Oh, okay. There we go. Now it makes sense.
Yodel, this game, is so close to just being John Carpenter's The Thing crossed with Event Horizon that it's insane.
Also, a lot of sunshine.
Yeah, a lot of sunshine. A lot of weird. You know what else? You know what else this game has a little bit of? There's a little bit of a Solaris vibe. If you've ever seen Solaris.
Heaven, I need to see that because I love hard sci-fi. I adore hard sci-fi. So
make sure you watch the original. Don't watch the George Clooney one.
Oh, you don't like Steven Soderbergh?
Well, I love him. This is not new Solaris is really not one of his best. Okay. It's less Ocean's 11, more.
The girlfriend experience.
You literally took the words out of my mouth.
I watched 25 or 30 minutes of that movie. I was like, this is really boring.
I watched the girlfriend experience in the theater, and that was a not a great choice. Also, not a great date movie.
Oh, imagine that.
Let me tell you, not a great date movie.
Okay, so it's a film starring an adult actress, or an adult film actress. So
yes.
I don't know what you were expecting.
Oh, I thought Steven. Yeah, he's good. He makes good movies that are always interesting. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Let's not worry about it. Okay. Let's not worry about it. You got bigger fish to fry with needing to stab people with your gun.
Yeah, stab people with my gun, also with their own limbs.
Yeah, with their own limbs.
That's the whole thing is I've forgotten so much of how this game, what makes this game unique and how to play this game. So, yeah, you can pick up the knife-like appendages of the fallen enemies and shoot them at them, which is something I just totally forgot about.
Sorry, Sean. Wasn't Event Horizon the movie that had that really disturbing images that flash by really quickly?
Yep.
Yes!
That was at the end. Yeah.
Exactly that movie.
Also, Prodigy's serial thriller plays over the end credits for whatever reason.
It sure does. That movie also has my favorite scene of Lawrence Fishburne in anything ever.
Really?
Yeah, because it's right at the end when everything's going literally straight to hell.
Yeah.
And Sam Neill, I'm sorry, I have trouble finding Event Horizon scary because Sam Neill is so hilarious.
There's some weird stuff in it though. I own it because like I said, the hard sci-fi, and it holds up pretty alright. But yeah, Sam Neill strips away some of the drama from that movie.
Yeah, he's so over the top, and I love his performance. It's awesome. But yeah, everybody's getting really frustrated, and people are dying, and ooh, X-Rat. So having your birthday on Friday the 13th, lucky or extremely unlucky? My birthday is on March 14th, so this is the night before my birthday, and I think that having your birthday even close to Friday the 13th is extremely unlucky.
I have a friend of mine whose girlfriend's birthday is today. And I don't know, man. I'm glad that mine is in October, nowhere near a 13th. So.
Yeah, there you go. You're perfect. Not even close.
I mean, I am perfect. We realize this. I mean, look who's streaming today instead of you.
Damn it.
Oh. big problem I have with the original Dead Space is the zero-G. Well, it's not zero-G here. But the space, like, when you have to use... Ah! And now that was... I just ripped in half. Oh my god. I forgot how violent you die in these movies.
Yeah, you died bad. You died bad. Axrat, happy birthday, man!
Yeah, happy
Today
birthday,
is your
Axrat.
birthday. Well, I'm sorry that it's on such a day. Just don't
leave the house.
Don't leave the
try
house.
to stream on Twitch.
Don't try to stream on Twitch. Don't do anything. Don't do anything that Rick from Splatterhouse wouldn't do. Or no
Rick
way.
From Rick and Morty.
Or Rick from Rick and Morty. Don't do anything that a Rick would do.
Isn't Rick short for Richard, which is also has a short for... Nope, not finishing that.
No, don't do it.
Nope, not doing it.
And Rick, don't do anything Rick from Walking Dead would do. Just don't. These are the Friday the 13th rules, everybody. Don't do what a Rick would do.
Multiple impacts detected across the star.
Why? Ah! What am I? Okay. I can't.
Did you beef it again?
Yeah, I did. Oh man. Yeah, this game and the Tomb Raider reboot have some of the most grisly deaths.
It's really funny when... Oh, Travis Stywell! Oh, God, that's actually a really good point.
Oh, Rick Moranis, actually, I give him so much respect because his wife, I believe it was his wife, died of cancer. He walked away
quit.
from acting entirely to raise his kids. That is incredible.
Awesome. Like, he's just a mule. This was a couple of years ago. My wife and I were at a Yankees game. And they do the thing where, like, you know, they flash like the jumbotron at any celebrities who are in the crowd. So like Susan Sarandon was watching a game that day, and they like put the jumbotron on her, and she waves, and then the jumbotron shifts, and like this is like 2 years ago, and the jumbotron shifts to Rick Moranis, and like instead of waving, he just does like that face of like what? Why are you, like, hunches his shoulders, like, what is this? Why are you doing this? It's like, Rick Moranis, you rule, and your Schwartz is as big as mine.
So this is attempt 3 to cross this bridge. I don't know how to do it without dying.
Multiple impacts detected across the starboard hull.
Okay, going for attempt 4. A second. As my legs fly off into the ether. Oh, Pepper Sandwich says to hide behind cover. Okay, I will do this.
Cyrus, my favorite grisly death in Tomb Raider is being carried down a river and getting your head impaled on a branch.
Yeah.
That is insane. I understand why they wanted those in there, because when you watch, like, old school, like, 1996 Tomb Raider, the deaths are ridiculous. Like, getting impaled and, you know, falling 100 feet onto a rock floor and your limbs flailing about all over the place. But it, like, you know, Lara looked like she was a pile of triangles back in 1996. Right. It looks so much more upsetting in, like, this brilliant high detail.
Yeah, and the thing is that game goes from, like, on the whole, the violence level in that game is probably around, on average, a 5.
Right, until you die.
And then you die and it jumps to 11.
Yeah. Jumps to a million.
Yeah, I impaled myself on those branches a lot. Also on the hang glider, getting impaled on those branches as well.
So, Tim, are you pumped for Rise of the Tomb Raider? You excited?
I need to finish the first one. I'm way close to the end. I haven't finished it yet though. But yes, I really liked it. I liked the Tomb Raider reboot. The sound design is incredible on that game.
Great sound design, amazing sound design.
Yeah, and we've been talking about sound all day, but I talked to the sound designer I interviewed him for a piece, and they used a cinema technique for the sound for that game. So in cinema or film, there is an anchor point, and the anchor point for any movie is the dialogue. So the dialogue is always going to be the loudest thing in the scene when there's dialogue, because it's important. That's how you deliver the stories via characters talking. So what they did with Tomb Raider is they made Lara, the anchor point for the game.
Oh,
so
wow.
everything that she does is always louder than everything else on screen. It's like I forget the guy's name, but it's unrealistic to think, okay, these two people are in the middle of a tornado, and yet you can hear everything they say. But you need to hear everything they say because it moves the plot forward. So they took the same idea with that, and they just applied it to Lara herself. Like anything she does, her footsteps, anything, that is the anchor point for the game.
That's awesome. Yeah, God, those Crystal Dynamics guys are just craftsmen, dude.
Yeah, the game's really, really good.
It's funny, like, Tomb Raider, like...
What is this? How? I was, like, safe!
So close. Tomb Raider reboot definitely got back to this, in a way that the series hadn't done in a really long time. Tim, you and I have talked a lot about recently, like Tomb Raider Underworld, and some of the more, like, in the last decade Tomb Raiders, and I enjoyed those games, but I liked how the reboot got back to the fact that, like, the original Tomb Raider was scary.
Yeah.
Like there was a horror element into all of this stuff.
Entering zero gravity.
So shit, you thought I was choking in the background?
Multiple impacts detected across the starboard hull.
Every single time Tim goes outside, I am thrust into the vacuum of space. It's the only way we could get the stream to work today.
We made a sacrifice and it was worth it.
But yeah, so I liked that Tomb Raider got scary again. I'm glad it remembered that you were lost in these dark spaces and things were going to kill you. But and you and I talked about this when we were doing the Resident Evil stream. I need Rise of the Tomb Raider to have an environment that is filled with more things than dirty hobos to shoot.
Well, there's gonna be more stuff. I thought I saw something. It's probably gonna be Yetis because it takes place in the Arctic or the Antarctic.
I need more things in the environment that are things that need to be overcome by ways other than a gun.
Okay.
I need to shoot things less. Like I don't come to Tomb Raider for the shooty bang bang.
Right.
I play shooty bang bang when I want to do the guns. That's a great game. That
Shooty bang.
Yeah, shooty bang bang coming this fall from DICE. Everybody, that's their new one. They've abandoned Mirror's Edge 2 and the Battlefield series and Battlefront.
Well, I mean, they did abandon the Battlefield series because, well,
Visceral.
Topically enough, Visceral is making the new Battlefield game, which comes out real soon.
Real soon, next week, next Tuesday.
Yeah, is anybody in chat looking forward to that?
Yeah, tell us, chat. We want to know about how you feel about Battlefield Hardline. Because I'll tell you how I feel about it.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't... Well, my mom always said, if you don't have anything nice to say, just say it as loud as you can. My mother did not instill a sense of restraint in me, as you may or may not be able to tell.
Yodel, Anthony, would you feel better if you dropped large objects on people to kill them? In Tomb Raider? Hell yeah. Or like if there was a giant animal prowling around the base, like say
Far Cry style.
Yeah, Far Cry style. Like say you came to an area where like there's like the underground Coliseum in the original Tomb Raider from '96, and say you're at the top of it, and you need to get down to the middle of this Coliseum, but it's filled with dinosaurs or Yetis or some horrible thing that's going to eat you.
Or
I would love it.
Style.
Or filled with werewolves, like freaking Ninja Gaiden 2. Cut off their arms. Hey, Tim got through it. Tim got through over the bridge.
I did. Well, it's difficult because when you're playing, I don't have sound on because the sound is delayed, if I do. And that messes me up even more than playing without sound. But when you have the sound on, you can hear Isaac starting to choke, and that's a really, really, really good thing. It says, oh, hey, you should take an oxygen can. Oh,
hey, everybody.
This is that thing.
Lester called again.
That's it, Isaac. You're in the pit.
Oh, this is one of those weird things that kind of felt a little out of place.
Anything flying at us. Keep an eye on the hull's integrity. Too many of those things get by, and we're dead.
Yeah, it's a
I think I've almost got
missile defense game, basically.
Fine, give me more time.
It's like grab all or the shooting range. Grab the bit, that's all. Right? But the shooting range is totally ripped right out of Resident Evil. This game is very clearly. Oh god, I am overheated, and this is not needed. The gravity ball is actually out from, but there was a way you could kind of do a makeshift of your own toward the end of the game. There were a couple of pillars and a couple of and enemies just kind of stop. You kill them. And body parts later on. You could actually use. I did this. You can actually use the body parts as balls and as friends as to kind of make your own.
That is amazing.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is not. The thing is, so that's taking a little difference. I remember when I first did it, this took me forever. So we'll see if we can get past this now. If not, I might very well just drop it down to easy so I can get past this for the stream. So we have this whole thing where Uncharted is now delayed until next year.
Yeah.
What is Sony? I would be amazed if Sony had 3 amazing games that they showed off at E3 this year and they're like, oh yeah, these are all coming out this fall.
Are you ready? I got you. I know what's happening. I know they're just gonna save their entire house. The Last Guardian, colon, Parappa the Rapper 3. That's why it hasn't come out. The Last Guardian has been redesigned from the ground up to be a Parappa the Rapper sequel. We are through the looking glass.
Sony's gonna have a really awesome spring next year with
Yep.
Uncharted and Morpheus, but just that they don't rely on third parties to put stuff in. Like they did last fall. Because okay, I think realistically, the Gran Turismo 6 HD is pretty realistic.
Oh, I think that's very realistic. I think that'll absolutely happen. And like, Polyphony has already said that Gran Turismo 7, and like they started work on that a while ago.
Yeah,
that's been in production. So that
they've done it before. They've done like, oh, this is Gran Turismo 4 prologue. So
right.
Very well they would do this. They would do that.
The Last Guardian is on the same level as Dr. Dre's Detox. Yup. Yeah. I like honestly. If I heard tomorrow that The Last Guardian is truly never coming out, I would be completely comfortable with that. I would rather never have another Fumito Ueda game again than to have something come out that is just.
The Last Guardian is basically.
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking about this yesterday. Or maybe it'll be Chinese Democracy, and it'll finally come out, and it'll be awesome! Bam!
And then it'll have its own guitar hero.
Yeah! There you go.
Or it'll be DLC for the forthcoming guitar hero.
Bill Donnie doesn't Final Fantasy 15 to be until 2016, too. Final Fantasy 15 does not have a date. Square Enix has been pretty cagey about the release plans for 15. It is coming. I think they learned their lesson when it came to promising release dates that they just, simply could not hit. Single and loving it. What were they thinking with this gun segment? I like
a really strange piece.
Yeah, there was last generation a plague of railgun sections in shooting games and adventure games, and like I don't know why that happened. Like maybe it was the ending of Metal Gear Solid, and everybody was like, "Yep, that's what we got to do forever."
I think I have to quit out to drop the difficulty, so I'm going to do that real quick.
Now, okay, alright, Pepper Sandwich, am I a sucker for actually wanting Morpheus to be good? I don't think you're a sucker, I think that's a very good thing to be hopeful about, and I think all signs are that the Morpheus is going to be a very, very cool little product. And Duke, I remember the Virtual Boy, so I don't have high hopes. So, it's funny you guys bring up the Virtual Boy. I've been playing a lot of Virtual Boy this week.
Oh, how do your eyes feel?
Oh, they feel fine. They feel fine. I recently purchased a game for the Virtual Boy that I have been trying to track down for years and years.
Is it the Lovecraft game?
It is the Lovecraft game.
Oh my god.
I
wish there was a way that we could stream that.
I've been trying to figure out some way to make it happen, and we can't do it. Like, it's just impossible. Unless, like, we, like, find somebody with an insane film studio setup. But, I found a copy of Innsmouth no Yokata, which is a Japanese, Japan-only Virtual Boy game based on H.P. Lovecraft's The Innsmouth Horror.
How much was that, if you don't mind saying? If you do mind saying, you can just tell me to screw off, and I'll be...
Not at all. That's why I bought it this time. I've been trying to find a relatively affordable copy for years. When I started looking back in 2007, copies were going for about $168, and nowadays it's very, very rare to find a copy for less than $200. I would say about once every 3 months I just start like checking on eBay like again, and for the first time ever, I saw a copy of it that was just an open auction rather than buy it now. And I put in my highest bid. I was willing to pay $92. So $92 with $4 shipping. I paid $96 for this game. That was
the price of Fantasy Star Analysis.
Right, exactly. Like when it first came out, this was my big birthday present to myself. This copy of Innsmouth no Yokata. So I've had my Virtual Boy out and hooked up and powered up, and like it's very interesting to play that system. Because, you know, Duke, you were just saying, I remember the Virtual Boy, so I'm not excited about Morpheus. What's interesting about playing the Virtual Boy now is that it has far more in common with the 3DS than it does with, you know, a modern VR helmet. It is, basically a way that Nintendo was trying to figure out to make stereoscopic 3D gaming portable. Because that's how the Virtual Boy works. The Virtual Boy isn't like a VR helmet. All a Virtual Boy is doing... Actually, it is kind of like a VR helmet because it's projecting two images simultaneously. But it's a far more primitive...
Oh my god, you did it.
You made it happen? You got them all? Nice.
Yeah, and I couldn't drop down the difficulty either, so... Whatever. Done. Anyways,
done.
Virtual Boy.
Yeah, Virtual Boy. So Virtual Boy is projecting two screens at mirrors that bounce into your eyes, and that's how you get kind of a little like it's creating a 3D effect by basically broadcasting two images into these things. Like think like trying to make a 3D effect using periscopes, and that's how it works. And it's pretty cool, but it's interesting to play it and see how these like game designers who had like 6 months to make a game for a system that was a guaranteed failure from the start thought about what you could do with stereoscopic 3D. And for the most part, the ideas aren't that different than what people have always tried to do with stereoscopic 3D. So you have like some cool effects with layering, you have some cool things coming at you from the background. But like, I was sitting there thinking about like, oh man, I wonder if we're going to get a ton of retrospectives about this machine once, a commercial version of the Oculus comes out and once Morpheus comes out next year. And like, Virtual Boy has no business being a part of like the VR helmet discussion. Okay. It's just a very odd footnote in the world of 3D. Travis Dywell, have you used 3D mode in Rad Racer? Yes, and it sucks.
Now here's the question: do your eyes eventually adjust to the red and black? Do you just stop seeing it?
Have you ever like played with a Virtual Boy?
I have never even tried one at a store.
It's really not that bad. Like, I mean, it's very like the red and black is really harsh, but provided you have a like working unit, the image is actually very clear. It's like very clear. The real issue is getting yourself into a position where you can actually see it, which is not easy. The best way to play Virtual Boy, strangely, is actually lying down, and you have to have. It's actually not that bad because the best thing you can do is lying down, and you have to have the stand for the mask, because there's no good way to just play it without the stand. So you lay it down and then you prop the stand on your chest, and then you play it that way. It's actually pretty comfy.
See, I was thinking of laying down on your stomach.
No.
Oh, like when you were a kid, and you used to watch TV, right? You'd lay on the ground and you'd put your shoulders underneath you, and you'd just crane your neck upward.
Right.
Yeah, that was terrible.
That sounds hellish.
Yes.
Yodel, has anyone ever tried the 3D glasses on the Master System? I've always been dead curious about that. That's one of those things where, like, every now and again I sit there and think about getting a Master System, and I'm like, oh, am I going to get the Master System if I don't have the sweet 3D glasses that came with it? Come on now. Tim, I love that you knew the H.P. Lovecraft Virtual Boy game.
Yeah, we talked about that when we were.
Oh, we did talk about
Evolve.
that. Yeah, we talked about that when we were streaming Evolve. So you can see why it was on my mind.
Yeah. So
it's super weird. It's so strange. It's really actually like, and it's weird to say this about a Virtual Boy game. It's very good.
Okay. Now, can you read Japanese? And if not, does that affect your enjoyment of the game?
Doesn't affect the game at all. The game is far more arcadey than I thought it was. I thought it was like Resident Evil, which it's not. It's like it is kind of like survival horror, but it's stage by stage, and you have to beat each stage within 2.5 minutes. And like the clock is just counting down, and so you have to run essentially through these like hallways first person. And all you need to do is find the key and the exit to get out. There's one key and one exit to get through the stage. But, like, finding them gets progressively harder because the stages keep getting bigger and bigger and more maze-like. And so you can also find, like, these orbs. What are you getting? You getting killed?
Oh, no, I'm getting those little, like, octopi with the skulls that are the infectors.
Yeah, the little squiddies.
Yeah. Yeah, these are the ones that actually will jump into your suit. You have to do the quick time, but you have to mash A button so that it gets out of you. Otherwise, it will. Yup, just like that. That was not intentional. Oh, just punch it, Oscar. Isaac. Oh no, he's beating it with the force gun. Oh my god. Isaac Clarke is just a serial badass. Okay, so as we go back to the Innsmouth.
Yeah, Innsmouth. That's pretty much it. You find the key, you get the hell out. Easier said than done, though, because if there is a monster in your way, like these giant, froggy, creepy-looking dudes, you can't get around them. Like, you have to either kill them or find another route. And killing them, like, that's where the survival horror stuff comes in, because you have, like, a pistol with 6 rounds, and unless you find more bullets, which are randomly dropped in the levels, they're not always there, you're screwed. And so they move, like, back and forth on the screen. You can only hit them when they're in the middle. If they're on the right or the left of the screen, you can't hit them. And it's, like, it's genuinely creepy to have on, like, the Virtual Boy mask and to have this thing slowly but surely, like, coming at you down a hall. It's really good. It's really good.
Okay, now have you noticed, now that you're actually playing it, have you noticed any games in retrospect that you were like, oh, this game influenced game A, B, or C?
Well, that's the thing that I've been thinking about as I play it is there any kind of lesson for people to learn from the Virtual Boy in modern game design? And like the answer is like, other than a cautionary tale, no. Because like the vast majority of games for the Virtual Boy are freaking terrible. Like virtual tennis, like Nintendo's tennis game is awful. Like, it uses the 3D perspective, but at the same time, like, it's impossible to get the timing to actually hit the ball, because the way the game looks and is presented just makes everything unintelligible.
Oh. I remember the only actual encounter I've had with Virtual Boy, I remember seeing an ad, it might have been a Nintendo Power, or GamePro when I was a subscriber. But it was an ad for a baseball game, and it was... The ad was essentially like, so somebody you're sitting on bench seats at a baseball stadium, and then there's a guy with plumber's crack, and it says, like, the tagline in the ad is something along the lines of, everything feels real except for the lack of chili farts, or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. It was a strange ad. I don't know why Nintendo was trying to be edgy, but they were.
Well, are you in the middle of the game? I'm having trouble figuring out where you are in this.
Yeah, I think I'm in the middle of the game. It feels like the middle. I don't know exactly. Oh, I don't know entirely where I am, and it's hard to tell because when you're on your first run through, you can gauge based on your suit how far you are. That isn't the case here because I'm using a different suit from my New Game Plus. Oh my gosh! Whoa! How did that? Okay, so, and also Dead Space, speaking of just weird experiments by Nintendo, Dead Space was on the Wii U as well, and it kind of just fit into that whole thing that mature games don't do well on...
Well, now, in fairness, it was a rail shooter, and just an okay rail shooter at that. Like, it wasn't Dead Space. It was Dead Space Extraction, and... you know, like, that doesn't hold like water with me. Like the mature games don't fly in Nintendo systems. Like Eternal Darkness was hugely successful.
Okay.
Resident Evil Remake was hugely successful. Resident Evil 4 is one of the best games of all time.
Yeah. Okay. Mature games don't do well on Wii. It didn't do well on the Wii.
Yeah. The Wii was. God, that machine. Ugh. Well, everybody, it's 5 p.m. We have gotten to the end of today's JXE stream.
It's a good point, too. Like, I reached the end of the level, you know.
Yeah!
So, yeah, this ended well.
Yeah, everybody, we will be back next week. Thankfully, you know, it will no longer be Friday the 13th, and we won't have to deal with the vengeful internet gods at that time. Thank you so much, the devoted crew of you guys hanging out and sticking with us for this impromptu spotlight. All went swimmingly.
Isaac,
Damn. Yeah, everybody, we'll be back next week. Unfortunately, we still have yet to pin down an exact time that the guys from Benetton are going to stop by for Hotline Miami 2, but I will tell you that next week we will be streaming the demo of Final Fantasy 15. We'll probably take a look at Final Fantasy Type 0. There's a lot of good stuff coming up. So we will see you then. Be here on Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and thanks again.
The sword that people are using is the training sword for Arya in the season where she learns sword fighting for the first time.